Hi friends, my name is Bowie Stover. I use they, them pronouns, and welcome to our bodyweight training session for beginners. I'm really stoked to have you join us today. We're going to be getting our bodies moving in a really nice, gradual way, not too hard, just enough to get you feeling used, get you feeling energized. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I want to give a big shout out to our pals at Drum & Street Services and Queer Space for helping us make this happen. They are amazing humans. Without them, we would not be able to rock this stuff out to you at home so that you can get yourself moving during this time we're all stuck a bit more indoors than usual. I'd also like to acknowledge that these videos are recorded on the stolen lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. Sovereignty never was and never will be ceded, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So we're going to start today's session with our warm-up. If you've been doing these sessions along for the last couple of weeks, you'll be getting a little bit familiar with these movements now. We start at the top, we work our way down, we get all of our joints moving, feeling nice and fine before we get into the serious stuff. So we're going to start with our heads. So we're going to stand nice and tall, shoulders down, away from our ears, and we're going to just look up and look down. We don't want our head to sink back or drop forward. We don't want our shoulders moving here. So we're looking up, nice and straight up to the roof. Down as we look down, we're going to tuck our chin down to our collarbones. We're going to do 10 each direction. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's it, 8, nice and slow, just getting to where you can get to. It's 9, that's 10. Once we've looked up and down 10 times, we're going to take our ear, we're going to bring it down to our shoulders. So we keep our shoulders down, we don't creep our shoulder up, but we're just reaching our ear down as far as it can go, and we're going for 10 in each direction as well. So that's 2, just nice and slowly. We're not going to get a lot of range here. It's about 3, 4, 5, that's it, halfway. 6, we're not trying to strain too far. 7, just getting to wherever we can get to comfortably. 8, 2 more. 9, and 10. Oh, that feels good after sitting down at a computer all day. So we're going to look left and right now, bringing our chin around to as close to in line with our collarbone as we can get it, coming back to center, and then looking in the opposite direction. We're going to go for 10 in each direction, so that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Making sure we're keeping our chin nice and level as we do it. 6, 7. So we don't want to be looking up, we don't want to be looking down. 8. So eyes stay nice and central to a particular midpoint. And that could be 10. We'll do 1 more for good luck. Moving on now, we're going to come down to our shoulders. Now you have 2 options here for our shoulders. If you're someone who has some shoulder troubles, if you've had dislocations, impingements, any of those kind of not nice things happen, you might be better off sticking to a shrug. So he's going to shrug our shoulders back and shrug our shoulders forwards. Now if you're someone who has comfortable range of movement through your shoulders, we're going to keep our arm nice and straight, and we're going to bring it straight up past our ear and around behind us. So whichever one you feel more comfortable with, do that. We'll do the sides separately, and let's jump into it. We're going to do 10 circles or 10 shrugs going backwards. Let's go 1, 2. Allowing a little bit of rotation through our hips as we do this as well is totally okay. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's it. And coming forwards now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Keeping it nice and controlled, that's good. And then we're going to swap sides, either shrugging it backwards or keeping a nice straight arm, bringing it back behind us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it, nice and slow. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now coming forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's taking our time. 8, 9, and 10. Oh, nice. Feeling a bit warmer in those shoulders now. Moving on to our hands. Our wrists, to be more specifically. We're going to hold them in front of us because it makes it easier to do this. And we're just going to circle our palms towards ourselves for 10. So it's 3, 4, 5, keeping our shoulders down. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to circle our palms away from us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes. Bringing it down to our hips now. We're going to have our feet just a bit wider here, probably somewhere hip width or wider. Wherever you feel most comfortable to stay stable, because what we don't want to happen here is you to feel uncomfortable and not be able to shift your hips about. We're going to put our hands on our hips because it gives our hands a job. We're going to push our hips forward as far as we can get them. We're going to bring it all the way out to the side. Push it around. Coming around to the back, making sure we keep our chest up here and our hips do the moving. We don't circle with our shoulders. We're going to go 10, circling to the left. Pushing it out as far as I can, all directions. 2, 3, keep it nice and slow. 4, 5, it's halfway. 6, 7, you might get some clicks and pops. As long as it's not painful, totally okay. It's 8, 9, and 10. Centering ourselves up again, standing nice and tall. Always start with good posture. We're going to come back, circling to the right now. So push our hips forward, round to the side, all the way around the back, as far as you can get them every single time. It's 2, keeping our shoulders up, our chest up. 3, doing hip circles, not shoulder circles. 4, sometimes it can be a bit hard to separate those two at first. It's 5. That's why I put our hands on our hips also. 6, let's our brain know what part of us is moving. 7, 8, 9, one more, and 10. Oh. Moving on, we're going to bring our feet either together or just a little bit apart so that you can feel stable. So whatever was going to work for you, totally perfect. Once you've got your feet in the position that works, you're going to dip your knees a little, rest our hands on our knees, giving our hands a job. We're going to dip them forward, circle them around to the right, coming back up straight, dip them back down to the left. And we're going to go 10 circles, circling to the right. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we're going to circle back to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost there. 9 and 10. Finishing off with our ankle circles. Remembering, if you need to balance yourself against a wall, on a chair, with a broomstick, anything that helps you stay stable on one foot, go with that, because We want this foot up. We want our foot to be able to move freely and comfortably. We're going to circle 10 to the outside. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And go back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Swapping sides. Finding our balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then back the other way. Bring it inwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Taking it down now to the ground. Getting your way down however you feel most comfortable to. I'm going to meet on the floor in our hands and knees because we're going to practice a little up dog, down dog. Now I'm going to give you two options here. If you're comfortable to do up dog, down dog, I'll demonstrate that first. But if this feels like a little bit too much for you, then I will give you a second move that is going to be just as great for you. That's a little bit less intense and you might feel a bit more comfortable with that. So please feel free to use either one of these. So first one, up dog, down dog. So hands and knees, you're going to bring your toes under, lift your knees up off the floor and push your hips back towards the roof. Pushing your heels down towards the floor. From here, you're going to shift your weight forward onto your hands, drop your hips forward and down. Looking up above. So this is, and then coming back. So that's up dog, down dog. If you don't feel comfortable to do that, your alternative is going to be coming down onto your stomach. Hands are going to be under your shoulders, so your fingertips are in line with the tops of your shoulders. Tops of the feet are resting on the floor, and you can either slowly bring yourself up, just 2 elbows bent, pushing them down towards the floor. We're going to do what's called baby cobra. Or if you're feeling a bit more adventurous and more comfortable to do so, you're going to straighten your arms right out, keeping your hips connected to the floor. And get your arms nice and straight, looking up and back. So whichever one of those movements, the up dog, down dog, or this cobra pose that you feel like doing, totally work through that. I'm going to demonstrate up dog, down dog for you, and we're going to do 10. And we're going to do 10 cobras as well. So either way, we're working through 10 of them. So if we're doing up dog, down dog, we're starting on hands and knees, toes curled under, lifting our knees up, pushing our hips back. That's it. Pushing our heels down towards the floor and then dropping our hips forward. It's 1. 2. If you're doing these nice and slowly, if you're doing the cobra poses, it's 3. Also nice and slowly, not pushing past this point of flexion, so keeping it comfortable. It's 4. Always working within where we're able. 5. There's no expectation to get further than where you feel comfortable. 6. 7. Almost there. 8. If you're in up dog, down dog, as you come into down dog, pushing your chest down towards the floor as much as you can. 9. Arching it back as far as you can. It's the last one. And 10. Bring our knees down to the floor. If you were doing up dog, down dog, if you're in cobra, coming up to hands and knees, we're going to meet here and then sit back down onto our heels. Tidy ourselves up a little if we have to. Taking our hands, we're going to rotate them outwards and bring our fingers around to point to our knees as much as possible. And then bring our palms down to the floor. Now once we're here, creeping your fingers as close to your knees as you feel good about doing. And then we're just going to sit back down towards our heels as far as we can. Now there is no expectation to get to this point. If you need to have your hips up off your heels a little bit, totally okay. You want to be able to feel a stretch through this back edge of your arm here without discomfort, without it feeling like you may be tensing in other places because of the amount of stretch that you're feeling. So we're just looking for a nice gentle stretch. We're going to hold for a rough 30-second count. Those up dog, down dogs really get the heart rate up. Oh, it's good. Making sure as we're in this stretch here that we're keeping our shoulders down from our ears as well. So we don't want to start sinking and creeping up here. That's probably around 30. We're going to gently bring our hands up off the floor. This time we're going to put the backs of our hands onto the ground. Fingers pointing towards our knees, palms up, and we're going to do the same thing, sitting back down on our heels just as far as we can get to. So there's no expectation to get where you can't get to. And then making sure also here, keeping our shoulders down away from our ears, up nice and tall. And you're going to be feeling this stretch more up the back of your arm here. And just breathing through. Taking that moment to just feel the stretch. This may not be a movement that you do very often, so it might feel quite peculiar. It might feel really different. It might feel really relieving because we don't do these particular movements very often at all. And these are ones you can practice anytime through the day as well. And coming up out of that, they're really great for just getting some movement back in your forearms, freeing up your hands a bit, helping them to feel a bit better. Alrighty, back onto all fours now. We're going to turn our hands over. Tops of our hands are going to rest on the floor under our shoulders. From here, we're going to hold quite a bit of our weight in our hips, enough so that we can lower ourselves down to the floor with control, nice and slowly. Lift ourselves up, pushing with our arms and using our hips as well together, closing our fist at the top and coming to a closed fist position. Slowly opening our hands, not allowing our wrists to thud. And coming back up. We're going to do 10 like this. So nice and slowly. It's 3. Just working through. 4. It's 5. 6. We're almost there. 7. That's it. 8. 9. Last one. 10. Now at the top of this one, we're going to actually keep our fists closed, making sure our fists come out to under our shoulders again. And we're going to do 10 push-up style variations of this with our fists closed. So coming down and back up, keeping our fists closed. It's 1. It's 2. That's it. Nice and slow. 3. Only allowing as much weight on your hands as you feel comfortable to push back up with. It's 4. 5. 6. 7. It's 8. That's it. 2 more. Doing well. It's 9. Last one. And 10. Finishing off our warm-up. Staying on all fours in quadruped. Palms flat on the floor. We're going to spread our fingers out nice and wide. We're going to slowly now lift our palms up while keeping our fingers on the ground. So only lift as far up as your fingers stay stuck to the floor. We're going to do 10 like this, allowing a little bit of our body weight here. Not a lot. We don't want to be really pushing it hard. It's 4. It's 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Oh, amazing. Warm-up is done. Have yourself a drink. Take a moment. Then we're going to jump into our first round. Alrighty, here we are. Part 1 of today's session. We are down on the ground, so if you are not on the floor, please make your way down. Meet me down here. We're going to start with a tall plank. Now, a tall plank, I'm going to give you two options here. I'm going to give you one from the floor, but if you don't feel comfortable to do that, we're going to do one from a chair or a bench as well. So you're able to choose whatever position feels best for you. Totally rock that. You will be amazing at it. We're going to start our tall plank variation. We're going to have our hands under our shoulders. Step our right foot back, toes under. Step our left foot back, toes under. So you can have your feet apart here. You can have your feet together. That's totally your call. I prefer my feet together, but that's preference. So if you feel you want your feet wider apart, like at the same width as your hands are, totally okay. We've got that, and that's perfect. But we want to have ourselves nice and stable, an even amount of weight between our hands and our feet. So we don't want to be too far back because our butts tend to get pointy, and we don't want to be too far forward or our hips tend to get saggy. So we want to find that nice center point there. We're just going to hold nice and strong, squeezing our butts, gripping our fingers down into the floor, kind of rolling the insides of our elbows outwards gently as well to really grip in there. I'm going to set up my timer so we get this right, and we're going to go for 25 seconds. Yes, thank you. Now, if you want to do an incline tall plank, you're going to find a chair, you're going to find a bench, something that's sturdy, so rest it against a wall because you don't want it slipping out from under you. You're going to place your hands shoulder width apart, step one foot back, step your other foot back, and same thing again. If you want to have your feet wide, have your feet wide. You want your feet together, have your feet together. Totally your call. Making sure your body's nice and in line though, so we don't want to have pointy butts here, we don't want to have saggy hips. So still finding that middle point of where you're going to get a nice line through your body. So please feel free to use a chair, a bench, anything that's going to help you feel good at whatever height as well. It could be a kitchen bench, it could be a dining table, it could be a dining chair, whatever's around, it could be a couch, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what we use, friends. Find things that work for you and totally rock that. Alrighty, so once we've found what item we're going to use, if we're going to do an incline push-up or an incline plank, or we're doing it from the floor, we're going to set our little alarm here. Got a timer, and we're going to go. Alrighty, up into our position, hands shoulder width apart, feet either shoulder width apart or together. Squeezing our butts, keeping our neck nice and neutral, just looking straight down at the floor between your hands, tucking your chin very gently, staying nice and tall here. We've got 5 seconds. There we go. 3, 2, 1, and relaxing, bringing your knees down to the floor. Well done, friends. That was our first tall plank, 25 seconds. Nailed it. Standing up now because we are moving on to squats. So for our squat, again, I'll give you two options. You are going to have feet hip width apart or wider, wherever feels most comfortable for you. Toes are going to be slightly outwards. Standing up nice and tall. Bring your hands together in front of your chest. Eyes up. You're going to dip your knees and you're going to push your hips back and down, coming down to the floor, standing back up nice and slowly. So we can do it just freestanding like this. If you would like to use a chair or a bench, totally okay. You're going to stand about a foot distance in front of your chair, bench, couch, doesn't matter. Set ourselves up nice and square, nice and tall, and same thing again. We're going to toes slightly outwards, and as we squat down, we're going to push our knees out the same direction our toes are facing. Come down. Now we're not going to sit, we're just going to tap the chair with our butt, stand back up. So they are our two variations. Find what works for you, and let's get into it. We're going to do 10. So here we are. 10 squats. Breathing in, coming down. Breathing out, standing up. It's 1. And just getting to as low as where you can get to. You do not have to get as low as I can at all. That's 4. It's 5. Nice. A nice aim is for hips at parallel to the ground. So if you can get your hips around parallel to the ground, on point. 7. Remember to have a nice even weight distribution between your feet. It's 8, 9, and that's 10. Nicely done. We're going to finish off with high knees now. Now we're going to get our heart rates up a little. High knees. Standing nice and tall. Hands are going to be just at around belly button height with our elbows tucked into our sides. And what we're going to do, if you haven't done them before, is we're essentially going to bring one knee up to one hand and then hop to the other foot. Now, if you don't feel good about hopping, you're just going to bring your knees up like this. Also totally okay. We go for 20 here, so 10 on each leg. Are we ready, friends? Alrighty, elbows tucked in, hands belly button height, palms facing down. Let's go for 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes. We have just completed one round. We have 2 more times to get through. I'm going to take this weapon off before I chip a tooth, because that would not be so fun. And we're going to start again, down on the floor, tall planks. Remember, you can use your incline bench if you want to. We have our stopwatch set up. Hands are planted under our shoulders, toes curled under, bringing our knees up off the floor. And let's go. 25 seconds. Chin tucked slightly, looking down at the ground between our hands, and just breathing. Do not hold our breath. Holding our breath does not help us, because when we inhale next, we collapse and fall apart. So making sure we're breathing while holding tension. So shallow breaths, nice shallow breaths, and relaxing. Well done. Standing it up, making your way to your feet. We've got our squats. Remember, you can use a chair. You can do freestanding, whatever works for you. That's where we're at. Toes slightly outwards. Also play around with this. Find a position where your feet feel comfortable. So each time you do it, if you're feeling a bit off, shift them around. Go wider, go narrow, no narrower than hip width though. We're going for 10 already. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5, 6, 7, it's 8, 2 more, 9, 1 more, 10, nice. Finishing off, 20 high knees, elbows tucked into the sides, hands at belly button height, palms down. Alrighty, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, one more time. Remember, resting as you need. Take that moment. Allow your heart rate to come down. And when you're ready, making your way down to the floor or onto your bench, your chair, your couch, your table, doesn't matter. Setting your hands up under your shoulders. We're going to step one foot back. We're going to step the other foot back. We're going to hit our timer. We're going to go. 25 seconds, last time through. Remember, breathing. We don't hold our breath here. Focus squeezing your butt. You want to imagine you're trying to pinch your ribs and your hip bones together towards your belly button. Nice and strong. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. And bringing your knees down to the floor. Well done. Making your way up. Oh. Squats. These old friends of ours. Setting us out off. Feet somewhere in hip width, toes slightly out, hands in front of chest. Breathing in, bending our knees, pushing the hips back, coming down. 1, 2, 3, that's it. 4, with control. 5, so we're pulling ourselves down. Gravity is not pulling us down for us. 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. Nicely done. One more to go. High knees, friends. This is it, finishing it off. Round 1. Elbows tucked to the sides. Hands belly button height, palms down. Ready with our knees. Let's go for 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Round 1 is down. Have a breather. Have a sip of water. Get ready to jump back in because round 2 is coming up, friends. Alrighty. Hey friends, here we are, round number 2. I hope you had fun in the first round. I'm going to shake things up a bit now, but we are starting back on the ground. We're going to start with divers kicks. What is that? I'm going to tell you what that is. With a diver's kick, we're going to start on our backs. So making your way down to the floor. Now you have 2 options here for your hands. You can have them at your sides, or you can actually lift your butt up and just rest them under the small of your back, just to support your lower back there. So if your hands make a little triangle, and then you're gonna sit your tailbone in that little triangle. Our legs are gonna be straight out. What we're gonna do, we're gonna bring our legs up, hover our heels, and we're just gonna do little itty bitty kicks. So we're gonna go for 20. Are we ready, friends? 20 divers kicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Nice. Done. Just like that. Yes. When we're ready, making our way up to standing, we're going to do 10 lunge steps. So we're going to alternate left and right for 10 lunge steps. So we're going to start standing nice and tall. Pick whatever foot you feel comfortable to lead with. Doesn't matter. I prefer to lead with my right foot first. Totally preference. So we're going to stand up nice and tall. Hands in front of our chest, or they can move as you step. So I'm going to shift back a little bit. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, just getting as low as you can. 4, doesn't have to touch the ground. It's 5, eyes are up, our chest is up, we're looking forward. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Nice. I'm going to finish off with what is called a pop and stop. So this is a neat little move that I learned when I was learning kettlebells, because they are essentially a kettlebell swing, but without a bell. What? Right. Here we go. So learning the fundamentals of a kettlebell swing right here. Hips just wider than hip width. Or feet just wider than hip width. Hips, if your hips can get your feet, hips wider. Tongue twister, who knows? Move on. Feet are wider than hips. Toes slightly outwards. We're going to set ourselves up. So we're going to start. We're going to take our hands and we're just going to cross them over the top of each other. And what we're going to do, we're going to dip our knees and hinge our hips back. So I'm going to come side on for you here, because a hip hinge is very important to see how it's different from a squat. So with a hip hinge, we use our hands like our hands are pushing our hips away. We reach back through our legs. Halfway up my wrist, halfway up my forearm is touching halfway up the inside of my leg. My hips are back. My knees are dipped, but my chest stays up higher than my hips. And then we're going to come up to the top. 1, 2, 3, just like that. Now you can have an alternative with a chair, because this is how I learned the kettlebell swing back in the day. You're going to set yourself up in front of a chair. This does make it a bit easier to guide your hips back. And that reach through, we reach back, we find the chair, we tap the front of a chair. Once we tap the front of a chair, we stand up. So this is your alternative. It gives you that point to reach back towards. Because if you're not reaching your hands back enough through, you're not hinging your hips. Little trick I learned, friends. Alrighty. Ready for these pop and stops. Find your chair. Find your space in your space. wherever you are. Let's set these up. Feet just wider than hips. Toes slightly out. Hands come across in front. I start up nice and tall. I feed back through and I stand up. 1, 2, snap your hips forward. 3, breathe down. 4, breathe out as you come up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pop and stops. All the fun stuff. Alrighty. We have 2 more times to get through this round, friends. So we're going to make our way back down to the floor. Find our spot on the ground for our diver's kicks. Again, make our little triangle. Sit our tailbone in it. Legs out in front. Toes pointed. Toes pointed here makes it heaps easier. We're going to hover those heels and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Done. Nice and quick. Only takes a second. Bringing it back up now though, because we have lunge steps. Lunge steps. 10 alternating left and right. So standing up nice and tall, taking one hand. It's going to move with our opposite leg. Stepping it forward, coming down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Pop and stops. Here we are. Feet. Nice to run through a little checklist. So you notice I do that every time I do an exercise. It's really good to run through this little mental checklist just to let yourself know that you've got everything right. So feet are just wider than hips. Toes are slightly out. Hands are in front. Shoulders are back. Cross the hands in front. Righty. We're going to dip our knees. Push our hips back. We're going to breathe in. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. One more round. Down on the floor. Oh. Going for those diver's kicks. Making a little triangle. Sitting our tailbone in it. Legs out in front. Oh. Hovering our heels. Squeezing our butts. And let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes. Coming up. Lunge steps. 10 alternating left and right. Standing up nice and tall. Opposite hand, opposite leg, move together. Stepping forward, bringing that back leg down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Finishing off pop and stops. Yes. Feet wider than hips. Toes slightly out. Hands crossed in front. Breathe in. Dip the knees. Push your hips back. Let's go for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done. Yes. 2 rounds down. We have 1 more to go. Just 2 more sets to get through. And you are done, friends. You've done so well. Keep it up. Have a breath. Have a sip of water. Let's get back into it. Alrighty, friends, here we are for our final round. We have 2 times to get through this, and that is all. So we've got this. It's going to finish us off. Hope you've been having fun so far. I'm going to shake it up. 3 more exercises to get through. We're going to start with our trusty chair, couch, kitchen counter, whatever you used last time for your assisted squats or your tall planks. We're going to use that again for our incline side plank. So we're going to find whatever we used last time, set it up against the wall again because we want it to be nice and stable. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to sit it on the bench. We're going to step our right foot out and away from ourselves here. So we're being braced by our middle leg here. Our middle leg. The middle point of contact on the floor. We've only got really 2 legs most of the time. So we're going to be bracing ourselves like this. And then when we're ready, we're going to step our left foot out to beside our right foot. We're going to shift our weight out and we're going to try and take that weight onto the outside of the edge of our left foot. We can just gently rest our toes on the ground as well if we need, or we can bring them up beside our foot, however we feel most comfortable. Once we're here, we're going to hit our start time and we're going to go for 20 seconds. So we want to make sure our body stays nice and straight. So we squeeze our butt nice and tight and we crunch our ribs and our hips in towards each other. We want to stay nice and stable. We've got just 5 seconds to go. That's it. Breathing through and relaxing, putting that right foot on the floor, stepping up, making sure our bench doesn't tip off us. And we get out of that unscathed. We're going to now move on to some calf raises. So for these, I have my feet under my hips. What we're going to do is just going to raise ourselves up onto the balls of our feet, making sure that our heels stay nice and neutral. So we don't want our heels turning inwards or outwards here. So just lifting our heels up off the floor as high as we can. We're going to go for 10. If you need a chair, a wall, or something to stabilize yourself with, definitely go for it. Alrighty, stay nice and tall. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's it. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Nicely done. Yes. We'll finish off with one of my favorite movements because it involves us getting down on the ground to get back up again. It's always a win. We're going to do back to grounds. So they're going to start. You're going to find yourself a space where you can lay flat on your back. We're going to start standing. Then you're going to make your way down to the ground, however you are comfortable to do so. So find your own way, whatever works. Perfect. I have a little trick I learned from BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a really great way to get down and keeps you stable. And I'll show it to you now as a way to help you get down because it's really great. And it's called getting up and down in base because you want to be nice and stable. 3 points of contact. So we bend our knees down, we place one hand on the floor, we take that back leg and we step it through. And now we're on the ground, nice and safely. Yes. Allowing ourselves onto our back. Sitting ourselves back up. Now we can stand back up exactly the same way. We plant one foot, we plant one hand. We're going to take this straight leg and we're going to sweep it back through. Getting up and down in base. Best way to do it, friends. Always up and down in base. My teachers will be so proud of me for this. Let's go for 3 more. Coming down to the floor. Sitting our heel back through. Laying flat. Standing up. It's 2. We're halfway. This is 3. Lucky last. Playing that hand. Tuck the knee. Laying flat. Standing back up. Righty. That's 4 times through. We're going to start back up top. This is the last time through. We're going to have our incline planks. Finding whatever surface you feel comfortable to do that on. Placing our hand. Now this time you can swap sides. I'm not going to because you won't be able to see me. You'll just be staring at my butt while I'm talking. And so swap sides for this. So if you did your left side last time, Swap it over and you're going to do your right side. I'm going to step it out, exactly the same as we did on the first side. So bring ourselves out to nice and level. We balance ourselves up. Keep ourselves nice and straight. Find out that center line. Tuck everything in and just nice and stable. And just breathe. Don't forget to breathe. It's the most important thing we can do here. It's the easiest thing to forget. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. And relaxing. Bringing yourself up out of that position. Nice. Calf raises. 10 calf raises. Feet are under our hips. Standing up nice and tall. Making sure our heels stay nice and neutral. And let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's it, 5, doing well, 6, 7, almost there, 8, 9, one more, and 10. Yes, finishing off back to ground. Remember making your weight down however you feel comfortable, or testing out getting up and down in base, just because it's a great way to do it. Guaranteed not to fall over when you've got 3 points of contact on the ground. You can't even get pushed over. That's why we learn it. A great self-defense movement. Here, stepping through. That's 1. 2, halfway. Even feel free to shake it up. Try your opposite side. Really want to mess with your brain a little. 3. What? What is happening? One more time. Lie it down. Come back up. Is that 4? I think that was 4. We'll leave it there. It was probably 4. Alrighty, friends. I hope you've had a really fun session. I hope you've felt your body move in a bunch of ways that you maybe haven't tried before. Maybe you've learned some new things. Maybe you've just been able to refresh on some stuff you already knew. However it went for you, hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, any feedback, shoot them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Anything you feel might be fun to try out, anything that you want to tell us about how your experience went, give us your feedback, friends. And until next session, remember, you're amazing. You've just done something wonderful for you. You can move in such unique ways, and I encourage you to explore however you can move you, because only you can do that. Have a rad-ass day.